So we are 1 week away from the NBA trade deadline, but will the Sixers make a move? I'm about to tell you a trade that they absolutely need to execute here on Philly Take with RB.
Perfect.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome into the show. Like always, hit the like button if you enjoy this content. Subscribe by hitting that red button down below and hit that bell so you don't miss any of the coverage. We will be breaking all of it down leading up to the NBA trade deadline. I am thrilled. I'm excited. It's not as busy as usual, but Sixers fans know there are a few needs that are being looked at, that are being glanced over at least, and it'll be interesting to see if Daryl Morey and this squad go out and make a move happen. And I'm going to tell you one they absolutely need to make here today, one that I've been hinting at for a month or two now, kind of pointing it out at certain times, but there's no doubt in my mind, 100% they need to go out and make this move. I want to start off with a couple quick tidbits here on today's show. Just want to update on Joel Embiid. He won Player of the Month for the second straight month. Still not an all-star starter, which is absolutely ludicrous, but he now won it in January as well. What a month from Joel Embiid. He continues to shine. And also, we made a trade video a couple days ago. Be sure to check that out if you have not yet, surrounding the likes of Matisse Thybulle. And just wanted to update you all by saying that Kyle Neubeck put out an article with more information on this today. A lot of it I already reiterated in my video, so be sure to check that out. But essentially, Kyle Neubeck says another team is now in the mix, aka the Golden State Warriors. And he gives more information on if a trade could happen, when it could happen, all that stuff. So be sure to go check that out. Now, in terms of the Sixers, man, fans know right now that this team is on a roll. They're on a stride, but there are still some key glaring areas that need to be addressed, and one of them being the backup center. And I'm just going to say right now, look, I love Paul Reed. I love Montrezl Harrell. Trez is a guy I really like. He brings that dog mentality to this team. He has good moments, but there are points like the last couple games where you realize if Doc Rivers throws this guy out in the playoffs, guess what? I mean, you know, you're putting yourself at risk for a moment like the 2018 playoffs where Joel Embiid comes out of the game for 2 minutes and Boban Marjanovic is a -12 or Greg Monroe's a -11. You cannot do that. And Paul Reed, I'm sorry to tell you all, is just wishful thinking at this point. Doc will not play him. He's a great young athletic rebounder. He can get better. He will get better. I don't know if it'll be on the Sixers. He doesn't seem to be in the rotation, and he just has no offensive game. So the Sixers need to address the backup 5 position. I'm just saying it right now. I'm going to tell you the exact fix here today, someone you are all very familiar with. And speaking of at risk, you could be putting yourself at risk on the internet anytime you're scrolling through, buying something, whatever it may be, and that's why you need to check out the sponsor of today's show. Shout out to Aura, who is a leading provider in digital safety and fraud protection. They help you manage your own risk while being on the internet. Now, you know, whether you open up a loan or, you know, you use a credit card, debit card, whatever it may be, I'm sure you've witnessed firsthand experience or, you know, have seen others or family members, whatever it may be, who have had their identity almost stolen or stolen by a data hacker, a scammer, whatever it may be. And they are all over the place. Now, what Aura is an easy to use app that includes everything you need in your power to stay safe and protect you from those internet scammers. They fight back against all those annoying websites, all those, you know, hacker emails, all that stuff who try to make your personal info public. And they alert you if any of your information is found. They also give you near real-time alerts on any suspicious credit inquiries. And they even give you a VPN where you can stay safe while scrolling online. They have a password manager that allows you to keep all your credentials safe. They just have all the tools and they're staying ahead of the game. As we know, the cybersecurity is a big issue right now, and Aura does everything they can to prevent that. So definitely check them out. If you go down to the description right now and click the link, aura.com/PhillyTake, you will actually get a 2-week free trial of all of their services. Okay, Philadelphia 76ers, what do they need? They need a man who is very familiar with the system. That is right. The Sixers need Andre Drummond. There he is. Man, I miss this guy. Anybody else? Anybody else miss this guy? He was a fan favorite. He was once a nemesis of Joel Embiid. And here he is this year on the Chicago Bulls, not really doing much at all. right? Andre Drummond included in the Brooklyn trade last year. And a lot of people are now telling me, oh, well, Andre Drummond is probably not good anymore. He's probably too old and washed. Well, let me correct you right there. Andre Drummond is 29 years old. He is still young. He still can play. Maybe a bit outdated compared to the modern day game. He's a classic center. We know that. But Andre Drummond can still play. He needs a role. And this is the perfect time for the Sixers to go out and make a move for Andre Drummond. This is a tweet I put out a couple nights ago after one of the Sixers' recent games against the Magic. And I said, if I'm Daryl Morey, I'm calling Chicago tonight about Andre Drummond. I'm sure he may have done it already because it is so easy to see. It's a no-brainer. And I'm actually about to expand and tell you why it makes perfect sense right now. But Andre Drummond needs to come back to the Philadelphia 76ers. And when he went to the Brooklyn Nets, let me correct the people that say, oh, well, you know, he just wasn't good. He wasn't good anymore. Andre Drummond was actually having a really good season with the Sixers as a backup center. He knew his role. And then when he went to the Brooklyn Nets, number one, he was asked to be a starter, which he was not used to doing. Obviously, he did it throughout his career, but last year he knew his role. So asking him to come in on a playoff caliber team and playing around guys like Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, who are completely different from what the Sixers try to do, that's not an easy thing to be thrown into. And Andre Drummond did struggle a bit, especially in the playoffs. But again, I just don't think he's a starter anymore. His game is outdated. He's not that type of guy anymore. You know, Andre Drummond is a backup, as we've seen last year with the Nets and this year with the Bulls. Now, I'll be the first to say I was completely shocked when Andre Drummond this past offseason signed, you know, for $3 million with the Chicago Bulls. I was surprised because I thought, given the way he played with the Sixers, he was going to go to maybe a lesser team and be a starter, get a $8-9 million salary. And I think Daryl Morey thought the same exact thing because this past offseason, Daryl Morey, you know, stuck with Charles Bassey, who's not here anymore. He waited. He ended up signing Trez for more money. And I think if Daryl Morey knew that Andre Drummond was willing to take a lesser deal to go to a hopeful contender, he would have probably tried to get him back. I think Daryl Morey understated what Andre Drummond could be had for, honestly. And a lot of people thought he was going to get more. It was kind of like an eye-opener when he signed with the Bulls. But, you know, maybe he just wants to win. And he signed a 2-year deal, $3 million a year. And it is the perfect way for the Sixers to get back in this. Now, a report not too long ago from this Twitter page, NBA Retweet, they posted the Steinline Substack. We talked about that newsletter the other day. And Mark Stein says that the Bulls are potentially looking to move Andre Drummond. So the interest is out there. You look at his stats, and they are significantly down. You know, he's averaging 6 points a game this year, and he's only playing 12.8 minutes per game. Now, last year with the Brooklyn Nets, he played 22 minutes a game, but with the Sixers, 18 minutes per game, and he averaged 6 points a game, and he also averaged 8.8 rebounds in just 18 minutes. And that was crucial. That was key. I said this when the Sixers, you know, signed Dwight Howard, Andre Drummond, Trez. They're going to be optimized because they have a certain role, a defined role, and it's not as hard trying to come in behind the likes of Joel Embiid. You know what he's going to do. So if you're Andre Drummond and you're in a crucial playoff game, you're thinking to yourself, I just have to go out there and give 6 or 7 quality minutes. I'm going to maximize my role. And what are the Sixers lacking in right now? They're lacking in defense at some points, especially on the second unit, and they are lacking in terms of rebounding. They've been one of the worst rebounding teams. What is Andre Drummond known for? Rebounding. He's one of the best rebounders, maybe all time. I mean, he said he was the best ever. And you look at what Doc Rivers said earlier this year and last year after the trade, he said he missed a guy like Andre Drummond. Drummond wasn't supposed to be in the trade. I remember they talked about the story from the day when the trade happened and Drummond was at practice. He didn't think he was being moved. Nobody thought Drummond was being moved. It's just the Nets didn't have a center, so they kind of forced the hand and said, you have to include him in this deal. And I mean, a lot of people were sad to see him go. Drummond was very much liked in the locker room. He commands respect. He's a fan favorite. He gets the energy type of thing. The Chicago Bulls are going downhill. They're under 500. They're having issues with injuries. They don't look like a playoff contender. They are looking to sell, and Andre Drummond could be had, and the contract is perfect. Now, you look at the Sixers, right? Jaden Springer, Trez, you know, Thibault, Daniel House. There's a lot of guys you could kind of throw in that deal. But one guy I want to look at in particular, and it kind of ties back to what we started with here, Matisse Thibault, $4.3 million. And what happened this past offseason? What happened this past offseason? Remember this? Chicago Bulls were interested in Matisse Thybulle. They wanted him. We were throwing out specific trade offers, whether it's Kobe White from Matisse Thybulle, things like that. And, you know, this was actually gaining some traction back in the offseason. And who knows? Maybe the Bulls are still interested. Thybulle's on the burner right now. Seems like there was a falling out after the playoff series. And if the Bulls are interested in doing a Thybulle for Drummond deal, would you do that? Now, I'm not saying that the Sixers should trade Matisse Thybulle. I'm not saying I want him to go. I would much rather a deal like the one I proposed a couple videos ago. You know, Furkan and Jaden Springer. Let the Bulls go take some upside from Jaden Springer and try to work with that. Take Furkan off the books, and we get Andre Drummond. The thing is, for the Chicago Bulls, if they don't move Andre Drummond, you know, I mean, what is the point of having him there for the rest of the season and next year, right? I don't think the Bulls see Drummond as a long-term type of deal. The contract's perfect. 3.2 this year, 3.3 next year. You could either line up a Thybulle salary, or you could go with a Furkan Springer type of thing. And I mean, it just makes perfect sense. The Sixers are limited. They don't have a lot to work with. Now, if they trade Korkmaz or whatever, maybe they have some more room, you know, and more flexibility, but I don't see them making huge moves. But in terms of the Sixers' need, what they're looking for, this is the absolute perfect deal. I just think Drummond knows the system. He knows the team. He knows the culture. And he always wanted to be here, and the Sixers will need a backup five. That is certain right now, and this is the perfect guy to go out and get. And Doc would love him. He would play him. We know that. Sixers need to make it happen. Give me your thoughts down below. Do you want Andre Drummond back on this team? Let me know if there's anybody else you're looking at. Give me all your thoughts down below. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and like always, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.